Hey everybody, it's your girl Heavenly B, and I'm in the studio with Dale
Hey.
and David.
Hey y'all.
And we're back for another episode of the Prince George's Weekly. Okay, so we're going to continue our conversation all about podcasting because I know you guys have been engaged. I know you guys have been interested in everything we have to say, and I know you're applying that knowledge, right? You better be. Okay. And so we've given you all the breakdown of how to get your podcast started, the important things that make it interesting, the important things that make it engaging. But what about the networking aspect of things? You're wondering, like, how do I talk to people? How do I get guests to want to be a part of it? So we're going to talk all about networking today.
So I was thinking about the podcast, and I'm working with a group of students who also are podcasters, and once in a great while they'll bring somebody in, and it's almost always like one of their contemporaries. And then I thought about, how do you get like those high value targets? Y'all have both interviewed very impressive local people. So how do you get to those people? And that is the whole concept of networking. And you're going to have to like bring me down, because once in a while I tend to get into the communication theory, manipulation thing. So y'all can do the real stuff and I'll do the manipulation thing to build your network.
Not the manipulation. Okay. Whatever works.
It is what it is.
Not for everybody.
So when we think about networking, I think most people don't know that they're good at it until other people tell them they're good at it. I've got a family member who knows virtually everybody. I was really impressed when I was talking to him about that whole thing a few years back at Morehouse, where Robert F. Smith paid off students' loans. And he was just like, yeah, that was a cool move he made. I mean, once in a while, I just call him up and we're talking about, the billionaire? You just call him up.
You got his number?
Right. And he accepts your phone call?
Yeah, that's true.
So I think everybody knows like impressive people. We don't necessarily know either that they're impressive or that they're part of our network.
So what makes a person a part of your network? Because I personally maybe think of it as like your direct relationships, your direct community. And maybe that's why I don't feel like I am that great at networking, because I don't inorganically build community. Does it make sense?
Like, I understand what you're saying. I disagree with you, but I understand what you're saying.
Okay. Like, if you see me in a social environment, you will see me socializing in a corner with a select group of people that probably came over and started the conversation with me, and then I continued to engage. Right. And so if it happens organically like that, fine. But I'm not working the room, passing out my card, talking to people. Right. That's what I mean.
That's not networking, but
I mean, that's how most people would perceive it. So it is good to clear that up.
There's a dude that you introduced me to that owns a restaurant on the waterfront.
Oh, I did work with him.
What's that guy's name?
Mark Petrie.
Oh, you know Mark Petrie? What?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, David, remember that dude that built these pianos out of the Steinways, but they're like a special kind of, what's that thing?
Yeah.
You feel harmonic?
No. He's an actual piano maker.
I remember that.
Right.
Can't think of his name off the hand. But yeah, he's the only Black piano maker. I think he is legit.
Yeah. And in certain circles, you drop his name and everybody knows it. It's like my cousin dropping Robert F. Smith's name. I mean, I know that. Not everybody does, but some people know who that is. A lot of people know who this piano maker is. A lot of people know who the restaurateur is. Y'all got people in your network.
Yeah, I believe I have people in my network. I think networking maybe is where I've gone wrong. So you're going to explain that probably to the people, because I think a lot of people perceive it the way I do. When you say networking, you're going out with the intent of building relationships to build your business or your brand or whatever. I think my network is formed by people who just organically came into my life, fell into my lap. And I'm just actually good at maintaining relationships with people. So you got to tell us the difference so that the people that think like me can get a better understanding that, networking is not going out here and just meeting random people. It's actually cultivating the relationships you have and using that to your benefit.
And so we just start with, like, who do you know? Most people have family. Not everybody, but most people have family.
Okay.
Most people have friends.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people work with other folk.
Uh-huh.
Some of us have gone to school. Some of us are still in school. And then some of us are members of these social organizations or social clubs.
Mm-hmm.
So these are some of the main areas that we get to meet people. I mean, you can also just meet people on the street, but that's not as intimate as the people that you're going to see more than one time.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we start with the people that we're going to see more than one time.
And are you guys a part of my network?
Absolutely.
Listen, if anybody need a host, I already know one. I know a girl, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay, gotcha. Makes sense.
If I'm trying to get to the senator, I'm going to say, hey, Heavenly, remember how...
I'm going to say, I'm going to just shoot my shot. See what happens.
I don't always name drop, but when I do, it's on purpose.
Right.
I know that's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, the one thing you mentioned is building a connection.
Mm-hmm.
And maintaining those relationships. So if you meet somebody, then you certainly want to sort of keep that whole thing going. I always suggest you never have to remember the truth.
Yeah, so keep it real.
You always have to remember a lie, but you never have to remember the truth. The truth just is.
Yes.
So be who you truly are.
Yes.
And then you don't have to like put on airs every time you see this person.
And be genuine. I think, this is my personal experience, is being genuine. I've been able to maintain relationships because I genuinely was interested in whatever they provided, whether it was just good conversation, whether I was interested in whatever, conversation we had, whether it's around family, whether it's around business, whether it's around mentorship, whatever. It's a genuine interest. And we're genuinely like doing it with no ulterior motive. And then when opportunities present themselves later, I can think of you, like David just said, I know somebody that could do that. But it wasn't like with the initial like intention to say, how can I build with you? How can I get some money with you? It just never happened like that for me. I have to do things from a genuine place.
Right.
I will say that pretty much every single promotion or advancement that I've gotten in careers or other things have come from literally building a genuine connection with somebody. Of course, letting your work speak for itself, but when they know you as a person and not you as a persona, then it adds a whole lot of favor down the line when they're like, I know this dude, he already does the work, but he's cool, he's dependable. I don't have to worry about him causing problems. Give him the job.
They can vouch for you, and also you can call them up. Like, I like if you could call them now, I know somebody, they know who I am, they know my name. Can you call them?
Yeah.
Right. So you have that genuine connection, you can call them up, and people will do anything for you. And a lot of times for your charge when you have a relationship. Especially when it comes to this podcasting thing. Now, like when it comes to things like interviewing, and stuff like that, if they have the time in their schedule, and even if they can fit it in for you, they'll fit it in. Right. When it comes to that. Now, I mean, other types of business, maybe not. And I can understand. But with podcasting, that's I'll come through. I'll come through on your podcast.
Yeah. So, I mean, the other thing you want to think about is not necessarily what they're going to do for you, but what you can do for them. You want to be that helpful person, because that leaves that positive memory for them. So maybe they just needed a ride to the train station. And you were the one that said, I'll give you a ride whenever you need. Just give me a call. Send me a text. So you're helpful, you're memorable, and that sort of reconnects or builds that stronger connection.
Yeah.
Find some similarity. Find some way that y'all are similar and build on that. Find and maintain the connection between you and the individual person. A lot of networking is all built on these individual relationships, these individual connections.
Yeah. And even to the keep in contact point, when you actually have a relationship, it's not always about keeping in touch every day. You have a certain type of relationship with its own dynamic. So there's some relationships that I have that are great that I only hear from maybe once or twice a year. But when we connect, it's like we never left because we built that much of a solid relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
So years ago, I did something dangerous. I would never do this again. But I did one of these ride share things on Craigslist.
They got okay. Go ahead. We gonna skip that.
This is years ago. This was years ago. I got in the car with this dude who was driving up the road, and we get like 2 hours away, and that's when he tells me he's got a gun in the car.
Oh Lord!
Right.
It's like a movie.
It might as well be a movie. I mean, then he said it's okay because I'm a law enforcement officer. I said, damn, now I'm in a car with a cop with a gun.
Right.
Going 85 miles an hour.
You did not calm my nervous system telling me you're officer.
So clearly me and this dude ain't got a whole lot in common. After the 8-hour ride, we became friends. I rode with him again, knowing the next time he had a gun in the car.
So many hoes. So hold on.
So fast
forward. Ride share and an 8-hour ride. All right, go ahead.
A decade later, I see him on LinkedIn and I say, hey, yo, what's up? I've been looking at these things, and I started collecting. So we had this whole conversation about guns because we had that one connection from the first time I got in his car, and he got me away from the district before he told me, you don't want to be in here.
All right, so since you're telling a dangerous story, mine's not really dangerous, but it makes me remember people, because I'm a woman, people probably look at it like it's dangerous. I did meet these two guys when I was on my little solo vacation for my birthday, and they came up to me, of course, because I don't usually be walking up to people, and they're like, oh my God, I love your hair. Thank you. One of their birthday was the same day as mine, so that was the connection. And we were going on a parasailing adventure. And so it was this thing with, okay, let's y'all parasail together, the birthday people. So I had a ball. And then I got in their car and they drove me back to the hotel. And I don't know them from Adam or Eve. I don't know how drunk they were. None of that. I was in the car giving relationship advice to these random strangers and hoping I gave the right advice because they could have put me out before we made it to the hotel. But, okay, here's the thing. This is where things get tricky. We did connect on social media. I'm that person. Follow me on social media. I'm not giving you my number. But they was like, yeah, we should hang out tomorrow, girl. I was like, okay. I'm like Craig mother. Okay. Ain't nobody gonna see you tomorrow. You would never see me again. I'm a ghost. With that new song, I was a fairy. All right. You would never see me again. Except for on social media.
But that leaves
was that networking?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's still networking. You just decide who you're gonna keep in the network and who you might want to keep at arm's length in the network. And you know that you still share an important date with at least one of them.
That's true.
And you won't forget your birthday, so you probably won't forget his birthday.
Won't never forget his birthday. So, yeah. But I think another thing that we can do if we shift it back to like building a network for podcasting is sometimes understanding that it's not going to necessarily you're not going to scout people from your network. Right. You got to develop it just by shooting your shot. right? I think some people will find it annoying. Who is this random person reaching out to me? And then some people will be impressed by the fact that you had the guts to do it. And so you just got to put yourself out there without worrying about the perception of you. And a lot of times, if you shoot enough shots, you're definitely going to make some, right? And people are going to respond, and it's going to be some big people, and you're going to feel good, and it's going to build your confidence to do it again. And you can't have a whole bunch of pride when you're a new podcaster trying to build. Hey, what's the worst they can say is no. You really have to take on that perception. What's the worst they can say is no. Right. And I'm still going to leave here and go to Chipotle or go where I'm going to go and eat and shower and sleep. And these people don't know me. They said no so fast, they'll probably never think of me again. So it's nothing to be embarrassed about, you know? And I think you just got to build from there. If y'all want to interview me, my email is in my bio.
Speaking of, know what you bring to the table. And I think a lot of people, because I work with students, a lot of them don't know what they bring to the table. And I'm sort of having to gas these people up to say, but I mean, you're here, you're in college, you're smart. And
what do you bring to the table?
Me?
Yeah.
A lot of years of experience. This gray hair means I've done a whole lot of interviewing. So
you bring your interviewing skills to the table?
I bring a lot of experience and research. And I guess it really depends on the situation. What am I bringing to the table? I might just bring a different perspective.
Okay.
Sometimes the different perspective is valuable. And I mean, I have lived a lot. I was telling a friend last night that I have been the target of police harassment. People don't know what that's like until they've been in it. So since I've been in it, I can bring that experience to somebody who is just beginning to be harassed.
And you can start telling that story by talking about the fact that you were once them. I didn't know what it was like, and I didn't think it was that bad until I experienced it for myself, to give a full picture. You know, and so that's the relatability factor.
Yeah.
Then you could also add like things like technical skills. Obviously, you know how to operate sound. You know how things work. Listen, I know enough to make sure you're not distorted. I know enough to make sure where the quarter inch is supposed to go, what a quarter inch is, things like that.
So ask me, do I know anything about them chords? And I've been doing this forever. Dale told me in my mind, it's like math. My mind's like, what? If Johnny had 5 apples,
then Johnny shouldn't eat too fast.
Daniel, what do you bring? Like Dale asking that just made me want to see how quickly we, off the top of y'all head, that y'all can say what y'all do or what you bring, because that's a hard question to answer sometimes.
Yeah, and that's the thing I'm trying to tell people too. Understanding that with podcasting, like we have talked about before, it takes a team. So know what you bring to the table so that you can be a better teammate. You can always add to your skill, but what do you do well? Because
what do you do well?
What I think I bring to the table, like he said, a different perspective, definitely technicalities with being able to produce and edit and things of that nature. But I also bring a different point of view from the fact like Dale has lived more lives than I probably ever will in a lot of ways. But I also bring a perspective of somebody who's married with building a family, raising a family in a society now that is a lot different than the one I grew up in. And so for people who are about to have children or want children or have some around the same age, I definitely could be a resource to a lot of them. But, you know, also things about music, and there are different things that I know a good bit about, not to toot my own horn, but when you live a little bit and you pay attention, you do learn a lot.
Yep, if you want to.
If you want to.
Get your lessons.
So go ahead.
Connection. There's one connection that all of us bring.
The school, PGCC.
No.
I ain't got my glasses on.
My execution might be televised. We bringing in the experience of being Black in this world, in this community, in this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
not
all
everybody gets to experience that.
Yeah, like we know how to tell stories and relate message. We know how to communicate. That's one thing that brings us together all the time. Because anytime we talk to each other, we always communicate about something. If it's not through talking, we texting, we communicate. So now I guess Heavenly for the rap sheet of whatever it is that you do, because you do so much.
I don't even know what to begin. Like, I feel like it depends on if you're asking on audio, like, or behind the scenes, which you want.
So I'll just go on a limb and tell you, for one thing, I think personally that you're the life force, the heartbeat of the podcast, because you have the personality. And like, if your personality wasn't here, they may listen to Dale for a little while. Eventually, for me, they'll be like, yeah, that's cute. But Heavenly brings like that flow, that energy, that vibrance that you need in a podcast. Like, she gonna make sure it's live and not boring, regardless of what you're talking about.
Well, thank you, David.
Hey, man, I listen.
He said, amen. Me and David relate there because we be churchy together. But then I come and mess it up and say something a little different that don't even align with the churchiness, but it's in me. So thank you. I think on the podcast, maybe personality. Behind the scenes, I really think I thrive, even though people that you listen to may think that I thrive more on the audio. I think I thrive a lot behind the scenes too. Like, I like to organize. I like to find guests and, create the structure of the podcast and find topics and stuff like that. I really do find that stuff interesting. With details, there are details I don't like to deal with. That's like the mechanical stuff, the audio engineering. Like, please get me out the way. If you hire me for that, I'm going to get fired very quickly. But if you hire me to create a concept, you're going to keep me on the team, because I really love to create and I get ideas like that. I just love getting ideas and they just keep coming. And so, I think I thrive like that.
I think that we are a really good team when we're sort of looking at the big picture and sort of forming this big picture into something. I hate that we lost all of our content at one point because we just didn't have the support. But what we built from the ground up, starting from scratch, and created this arc and created a following for what we were doing, the teamwork made that happen. It wasn't just the concept of one person. It was the teamwork that put this together, and thinking big picture and then making the small pictures from the big picture, I think was really valuable. And both of y'all made the whole thing happen.
Yeah, we could have did it without you.
Right. I like Dale. I think all of us at different points brought a level of vision that we didn't even know was there, because we brought it out of each other. Like, when you collaborate enough, you start to get a broader picture and you start to say, okay, well, what are we looking forward to this year? Because you remember, we had some times where we literally sat together and planned out seasons. Oh, we're doing this season on this. Oh, the next 3 interviews are going to be about this, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, then I'll make sure the next 2 are about this. And it was just flowing like that.
Because I was about to say, once y'all give me a season, because Dale usually will give us like the broad season. Like, you listen, this is what you talk about. So find some guests. But once I got the vision, that's it. I'm about to run. So I think that's one thing I notice about myself is, don't even tell me you want something if you ain't sure. Because after you say it, that's it. I'm out of here. All I need to know is what to do. And I'm going to do the rest. I'm going to figure out how to get it done myself. But you just got to tell me what you want. Yeah. So we had some great seasons.
Yeah. Fantastic seasons.
And we had a social media person too. And she really was good at what she did and was able to focus her energy there. Because, I'm all right on social media, but I really don't have the patience to be sitting around editing videos all day and doing stuff like that. And she did. And so you got to know what your gifts or even if you can do something, do you thrive there? You know.
And I'm the guy with the key. I got the key to open the door. That's my whole talent.
That's the captain right there. That's the one to run the show, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I got the key for the door. We're good.
Mastermind. He'd come in and sit down and play. Okay, guys, do this, and then I'll be back. Like what?
And you shut it down, security, all that stuff.
So now we have to flip to the other side. We recognizing that each of us has value. What does our target person for the network bring to the table? What do we want from them?
To listen.
We want to hear their stories.
Yeah.
And maybe the person that we're going to bring into our network is not the person we want on our podcast. Maybe the person we're bringing into the network is the person who knows the people we want on our podcast.
And now that's the truth.
The value that they bring is their network.
That is true.
Know these people. We just have to know the people who do know these people.
I actually have a friend like that. She loves. I have more than one friend like that. And maybe that's how I actually develop my network. When I think about it, my friends are those people that bring people together. Like, what do you call those people? They have like a term for that.
Connectors?
Connectors. Yeah, like connectors. That's their energy. They love it. It's natural to them. And so whenever something comes, they're like, oh, I got to introduce you to my friend Emily. And And then I end up building relationships that way. I happen to know a lot of connectors. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a connector a lot. My wife is a super connector. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can't be no hater to be a connector.
You really can't. And your job is to connect, not to connect to collect. Just putting other people together and you getting out the way.
Yeah, exactly.
There's value in that. There's a lot of value in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Man, I need to tell my friends to make some money.
I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Nothing. I need to tell my friends to go ahead and market that and make some money, connect to people.
Yep.
Yeah. The expertise. Yeah, it would be nice for me to be able to get what you do, understand it in the way that you can relay it to others. Because like we've talked about before with the podcasting guest, you want them to be able to know or have some kind of knowledge about the field or whatever it is that you're talking about. So that means you have to have had some kind of experience at some point, I would imagine. And it shouldn't just be, unless it is like a novice type podcast situation, you want somebody who's pretty well, knowledgeable about whatever it is you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine.
I was thinking my friend helped connect me with some of the guests we brought on, because remember the restaurant, the smoothie dude? Like, my friend connected me with smoothie dude.
Yeah.
That's a connector.
That business seems to be doing something. That business seems to be doing something, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's got several locations, doesn't he?
From what? Yeah, I haven't been yet, but if it got off the ground and it seems to be thriving, so congratulations to him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we've had some people on. Like I said, we have not just interviewed people. We've interviewed some movers and some shakers.
Yeah.
Some people that I don't know, like I would say like an underdog that ends up rising. So we've done some things.
Yeah. So the other thing that we have to probably pay attention to, especially when we're starting out in podcasting, is you may be connecting with somebody not for now, but you're connecting with them for the future.
That is true.
Because they might become a mover and shaker, and maybe because of something that you imparted to them, or maybe that's just their life path. They're going to become a mover and shaker later on. So make friends now.
Not judge people. I mean, listen, or maybe you may be working with somebody or in school with somebody.
Yes. That's
going to be that. But you mean and you standoffish and don't act like that's your cousin and that's your homegirl when they blow up.
Right.
Because you had the opportunity to build genuine connection with them when they were not big. And, you know.
So you don't have to be best friends with everybody, but you shouldn't be mean for no reason.
Yeah, it's a lot of mean people.
Work.
Some mean people out here. They mad.
Because you never know.
Never know.
Y'all should see me. Y'all see me. I was looking around for my glasses, but I
thought you were giving the mama look.
trying to see something.
When you're trying to build these relationships, you want to make sure that you're giving more than you're getting. I think it's really important to make your network people look good.
Okay.
That's the one thing, the one talent that we should certainly bring to networking anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. I got growing to do that. I need a mutually beneficial partnership or networking relationship, and so I don't want to give more than I'm receiving. Maybe in different time. Maybe I may give more now, but then I expect that when it's time for you to give back, that is, of equal value.
Or of greater value.
Or greater.
Because
right. But I don't want to be pouring
to get interest. So right now, I need somebody to do my hair. Who am I going to call? Hey, Heavenly, you know anybody who can do a really weird head? Heavenly's going to know somebody. Now, when you connect me with that person that you know who's going to do my weird hair, I want to make sure that I'm talking you up. Because I'm reinforcing the connection you have with that person. I'm making you look good for sharing your network with me.
Yeah, she highly recommended you. She told me that nobody better than you. So I'm glad to give you my business.
That makes sense.
Now, if they mess up my head, I'm not going back to them. I'm coming to you.
And that's the flip side of networking, and especially when you're the connector, is that listen, you got to be very careful and very short and confident, because people are going to come back to you because they trusted you if something goes wrong.
Yeah, the thing about being a connector is everything is connected to you. So you're the common denominator in whether it's a good experience or bad. So make sure you connect as reputably as possible. Like, I'm not going to hook you up with somebody that I can't say for sure, yeah, this one's okay. Or you.
But some people trip you up.
I may give you a huge disclaimer, like, I mean, he can do it, but
it's going to take them a little longer than the average person, Yeah. Okay. So have any of you ever connected to people and felt like you have regret about it?
Yeah, of course.
Y'all like, yeah, like, well, is that even a question? I haven't done it often, but I do remember being in the salon. So I built a lot of relationships in the salon, like, to be very honest. I don't know what I would do without that experience and connecting with people that way. But it was this girl, she was a new client. She was referred to me. I was doing her hair, hooking it up. And she was talking about how she manages a store down at the harbor. And she was trying to staff the store, but it seemed like, the generation didn't want to work, et cetera, et cetera. So I automatically think of somebody I'm close to who was looking for work. And from my experience with her, she was a hard worker. I can vouch for her integrity and everything. Connected her. The lady actually kept her word and hired her. That girl was up in that store stealing. I didn't even know she was a thief. I never knew. And I won't say she's I don't know. I guess you call a we just say call a spade a spade. Yeah. In that era of her life, she was thieving. I don't know if she still does that. She was a teenager then. She's a grown woman now. But that reflected poorly on me.
Oh, yeah.
And I also believe that it made me lose a client because that lady didn't trust me no more. She didn't want to come back, and she was already a new client, so she had no real skin in the game anyway, or no loyalty to have to come back to me, So that went wrong.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Value of the connection.
I knew better. It made me not want to recommend people as quickly,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
I
tell
think
my students all the time, I'm not bringing people into my network, and I can tell you what my LinkedIn is, but you and I are not going to be LinkedIn connections because I guard that that network pretty tightly, and I don't know you.
Exactly.
yeah. I had a situation where I told one of my guys, real close friend of mine, I was like, there's certain names I don't even throw out until I know for sure that this is 100% legit, because this connection is that important to me. I would rather let them miss this opportunity than to give them one that can set them up for failure. So,
Right.
Yeah. That is true. That was a good perspective, guys. How it can work against you as well.
Yep. So here's the tough part. When you're in that network and you need to ask for a favor. Hey, I got this friend looking for a job. Hey, I need a bass player. You know anybody? Hey, can you introduce me to somebody? So I had this experience. I had a student years ago, before the pandemic. So it was a long time ago. And he was a good student, and he said he wanted to be a lawyer. I just happen to know a lawyer. That's it. I mean, if you want to talk to somebody who's already there, maybe it might give you a little insight. So I said, I'm going to give you his phone number. This is part of my network. Do not mess me over.
Mm-hmm.
So I called my friend who's a lawyer and say, so did y'all have lunch? And he said, no, he canceled on me. Yeah. I was livid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then he had the nerve to come to class the next day.
Right. Come on, hey.
Like, hey, no, we ain't friends.
Because I'm on my petty mode today.
like, you already got an F. It don't even matter.
Did you speak to John? Did you say hello to him? Oh, no, you didn't, because you ain't go to the meeting.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. I've had that happen too. Yeah. So I think, like you said, it's just a part of the game.
Right. So now if I go to homeboy now and say, hey, I got this student who wants to be a lawyer, he looking to be like, I lost my mind.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you ask him for that favor, it might be the last one you getting.
That is true. But then sometimes you do have to just kind of trust your instinct and take the risk on some people. Like I trust and believe. I would take that risk on y'all. I think we've built enough relationship. I know your character enough to vouch for you and to actually believe with my whole heart that you all will live up to what I know about you. So, if it screws up and it don't go right, then I have to eat that. I have to eat that because I truly believed it. I truly believe in y'all, so it is what it is. Like sometimes you gotta take that risks.
Yeah. Listen, I had the situation.
Go ahead.
I had the situation very similar as far as I had to refer somebody, like you said, somebody asked, hey, a guitar player to fill in. And the guitar player that I knew is a good guitar player. Now, everybody isn't good for every situation. That's a whole whatever. But for what the situation called for, he was pretty legit. Now, when I found out or asked or spoke again to the person that I referred him to, they were like, man, what happened? You told us that he was this, that, and the third. And I was like, well, what went wrong? Because I genuinely want to know so I can provide feedback to him. And also, and it was just one of those situations where it just wasn't a good mix. It wasn't that he was bad, but what they wanted, I guess they were more used to me, and our styles are a little different. So I'm like, I get that, but he is a substitute. So I kind of took that a little bit with a grain of salt. I'm like, this was one time. It's not going to be a regular occurrence, but I do know in the future that I probably wouldn't refer him for that situation, not because of a lack on his end, but just because it just doesn't match.
Right. And talent is subjective. So like stuff like that, unless you just horrible and don't nobody think you sound good or you play well, and people over there chuckling in the background and you see it from the side of your eye, your peripheral. But for the most part, talent is subjective. So you could genuinely think that he's amazing and they just have a different perspective. Yeah. So that happens as well.
Now, this is hard. Networking is not easy.
It's not.
No, it's like
everybody does it all the time.
Stay true to yourself. I just say stay true to yourself. Be genuine. Don't take the relationships and the people that you encounter for granted. Never think you're bigger than anybody. Never think that you're too good to learn, that you're too good to connect with somebody. And the rest will flow organically as you navigate through life, because you don't know what life is going to present to you. But when life presents those things, you already got these people that you connected with along the journey that can help you in this new moment. So that's my advice. Don't make it weird. Don't make it weird. Just be you.
Yeah.
But what if I am weird?
That's another story. You still be you, and you attract your tribe.
You can still be
attract your tribe. That's for sure.
Yep.
Damn, I hope you're not calling yourself weird and then saying you attract your tribe for sure. Because I'm like, no, what you saying about?
Right. Well, I'm weird now. Okay.
Well, I think that was a really valuable conversation. I hope you guys got something from it as listeners, that it at least gave you one thing that you could add to your arsenal as you go out here and navigate building relationships and networking for your podcast and for any of your other endeavors in life. Anybody got any final words before we wrap? Nope.
A lot of professionals will tell you the second most important thing to career success is networking.
Mm-hmm.
The first most important thing is being really good at your job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's a saying that used to say, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And if you are somebody who puts out that kind of good, helpful, friendly energy, all that kind of stuff, I mean, listen, the Bible says you reap what you sow. So if you put it out there, at some point, it's going to come back. Be what you want to attract.
Yeah.
Period. And that's all for today's episode, guys. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Prince George's Weekly. We hope to see you again next week. Until then, we love you guys. Peace. Mwah. Bye.